Peace and love, my galactic brothers and sisters, sisters in light, brothers in light, in love, and healing, and bliss. I'm so blissed out right now. I'm gonna get a sip of water. Have you had your water today? Have you had enough water today? Drink some water. I just realized the other day, if we're supposed to be drinking a gallon of water a day, we looked up how much a gallon of water weighs. 8 pounds. Is that what it said? 8 pounds. So you're supposed to drink 8 pounds of water a day. So I'm working on it first thing in the morning. Haven't eaten anything yet. Have you grounded today? Some of what I'll be talking about today has to do with this little guy and how he came up to me, or was brought to me by the Lemurians in my meditative session, which is what I wanted to share. So, peace and love, like I said. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Sending you good vibes. I'm going to burn a little bit of Palo Santo in case you're having a rough one, or in case you're having a good one. Oh yeah, this one died. There we go. We got a new one. Welcome back to the palace. It's been a very exciting time in the palace for me personally, as I've been connecting more to my light language. It feels good to connect to it. Es con wat alakash kanayatake. In don wakal wat ashkaniti don shkanayat. It's something that I can't necessarily explain, but it really taps me in to, like, oh yeah, this is me. It really brings me back to me. But I just came out of a meditative session and I felt called to share it. So just sharing some galactic downloads I received in meditation, sharing my downloads I got from my galactic guides, my galactic ancestors. And so I'll set this little Palo right here with us. Okay, so like I said, it's been a really new journey for me, speaking in light and sharing more light. And so I was getting so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, I'm a Capricorn rising, so it might be a Capricorn rising thing, but like once I find something that is like, oh my gosh, I love this, I want to do more of this, I like workhorse and I go crazy into it. And I was already feeling like so excited to share light and speak in light, and oh, I wanted to say this, oh, I want to say that, ooh, can we talk about this? And needing to slow down. And some of that is also from being a firstborn Pleiadian, and from what I've done and what I'll tell you from my meditative session, in understanding how Pleiadian energy works, is like working in this 3D realm can feel very dense to Pleiadian energy, because you just, like, you know when you play a video on YouTube and you speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5 because they're moving just a little too slow for your energy field? That's what it feels like to be in Pleiadian energy. It's just a little bit faster, just moves a little bit quicker, and I can notice myself do that. So it's really been a personal lesson, especially as a Capricorn rising, to, okay, well, it's exciting, but let's slow it down. And so I felt really called this morning. And if you, and I'm guessing you do feel this way as a starseed, a light worker, whenever I wake up, I have to meditate first. It's almost like my body will not let me get out of the bed until I meditate. I will just feel so dense and heavy. And so sitting in meditation allows me, I set my grounding cord. I create my protective egg for the day. I put my flower crown on. I have some lavender and white roses around my head right now. And it allows me to put on what I need to move through the 3D world, this third dimension, if you will. And so I was sitting in my meditative session, and typically, sometimes I'll go into my spine and I'll spiral down. Other times I'll send myself out to places on Earth. And so I was called to do that this morning. And I did. It felt really good. And I got to my spot that I always go to, that I project myself to. And I was sitting on the shoreline. And as I was sitting there, I grounded my energy, and 2 Pleiadians, 2 Lemurians, and 2 Arcturians. They mostly come in twos, I've noticed. They all landed down in front of me. And at first, like, I could already tell I was kind of gonna get like disciplined in a way. Like, okay, girl, we know you're excited to share your light language. We know you're excited, but just slow it down a little bit. Um, they worded it specifically. You're pressing too hard into masculine energy with something that is feminine. And that's also another personal lesson for myself as a Capricorn rising, as a Mars in Virgo, Sun in Cancer in the 6th house. So I wasn't like, I didn't feel bad about myself and I didn't attach to that fact, but it's definitely something I do. So I was thankful that I was provided with that awareness. Like, don't press so masculinely into something that is feminine. And so even though I'm excited, slow my roll. It's not going anywhere. I'm just so excited, you know what I'm saying? So I thank them for that, because that was kind of one of the first things they brought up was like, okay, we know you are supposed to be working with light language. You have been activated to work with it. Everyone's eventually going to become activated to work in it. If you want to do that in a way that is helpful to others, you got to slow down. Slow your roll, ground yourself. And I have grounded myself for the videos that I've done already in sharing the light. But like I said, it was still very new to me to be sharing it with others, to not just be saying it in silence or quietly, to be speaking it out and allowing the channel to come through. So I thanked them for that information. And as I was sitting there, I also remember asking too, I was like, so is this something I am supposed to be doing? Is this something that I'm meant to be doing? Is this how I'm supposed to grow something here? And another thing they really strongly urged me to remember is that the focus and the goal is to create connections with others. Is my goal in connecting to my light and sharing light language is to connect with others. So and how they showed it was like I was a circle, and then sharing the light language looked like little Aquarius symbols actually, and they had like multiple Aquarius symbols for when I make a video in light language, it being able to reach other people, and that little like electricity connects to the other person, activates them, or they awaken and then they activate, and then that allows them to make a connection with me. And they said the goal is to create connections with others. And so it was nice to have that more affirmed, like, yes, this is something you're supposed to be doing. And so I sat with that and I said, okay, that makes sense. And again, my Capricorn rising having to integrate, because I feel like for a lot of Capricorn risings, and I have all of like 30 degrees Aquarius in my first house as well. So like I don't always attach to my Capricorn. And while we're in Aquarius season, I'm definitely more in my Aquarian energy. But tapping into that Capricorn risingness of like, okay, well, I have to build it. It's like, no, I'm building connections. I'm building friendships. I'm building something that's going to really allow for that crystalline grid to be created on Earth. Imagining connecting to all of you beautiful people from all these different parts of the world, and then we all hold in light. That is the goal. So it was really beautiful to receive that. And then like they kind of almost like went away, like, okay, we're done. And I was like, no, wait, I'm not done. Especially because I hadn't like sat and talked to them since I started using the light language. I was just like, ooh, do. And then whenever I'd make a light language video, I would sit in meditation, call to them, and ask for them to channel through me for it. But I didn't really like sit for like an hour like I did this morning. And so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so they all like were about to like kind of beam away, and I was like, wait. I was like, okay, so am I supposed to be sharing this in a certain length of time, a certain amount of time? And they essentially were expressing, we'll come to you and tell you when it's time to create something. We'll come to you and tell you when it's time to share something in light with us. And I thanked them, and then they all kind of went up, and then I turned to the right a little bit. I guess I should have painted the scene a little better. So I was on a shoreline, and then there's the water, and then it was kind of dark where it was at, so there was a fire on the beach. So I was sitting, and it was kind of dark as they were all sitting by the fire with me. And so then one male energy Pleiadian came and sat to the right of me, and he gave me the reminder. Hold on, I'm going to close the door just so I'm not too loud. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So he came over to the right of me, and he said, you know that you're a firstborn Pleiadian, right? And they never speak. It's always just telepathically. It's like, yes, I understand. They're like, so understand some more about the nature of what that does to you on the 3D plane. And I've already read so much about Pleiadians, but he was like, really like, no, like, remember that and hold that every day. Like, understand that you're working with that energy within your DNA, within your physical vessel. And he's like, do some more research, read some more, understand more. And so what immediately came up was reading about Pleiadians being closely linked to music and song and dance, dolphin energy, really working, a little bit faster, but learning to slow it down. I also received that a lot of Pleiadians do experience some throat chakra blockages, and that's some of what I've experienced for most of my life. And then he said, and don't forget to call on your sisters. Don't forget to call on your sisters, and that's Alcyone, Meropes, Derobe, Tegeta, Maya, Electra, Pleione, and then I guess technically Atlas. And actually, I'll tell you now, if you go to astrodienst.com, it's an astrological birth chart website, you can look up the different asteroid numbers for each of the 7 sisters in your birth chart. So they actually didn't have a lot for some of the sisters, but for Merope, her asteroid number is 1051. And for Electra, her asteroid number is 130. And so by knowing that, I know I have Electra in my 6th house. My 6th house is every day. I can call to Electra every day. Like, this is something they just told me, so I wanted to share it. So in case you want to look up in your chart and see which sisters work really specifically with you. And like I said, some of them don't have numbers. And then I have Merope in my 10th house of my work. So it's like, every day when I'm working, Electra Merope, Electra Merope, Electra Merope, and calling to my sisters. And I actually am going to go on the computer, find some good websites to try and read more about them specifically. So that was really exciting to receive from him. Like, don't forget to call your sisters, or like you literally go up in the sky and look at them. You can talk to them. So that was a great reminder from him, and I thanked him for that. And then he just kind of went back up. And then out of the jungle behind me came my Lemurian ancestors. They feel so good. They feel so fiery. They feel so like, I just love their energy. They're so bold, and like, I need more of that. So I was appreciating that. And they came out and they said, when you go, because I'm planning to go somewhere physically on this earth this year, said, when you go to meet with us on this land, you will receive a lot more activations. You will be able to connect more to our grid and our crystalline grid here, and there's work that you will be doing on this grid here, the light work you have been sent down to do, light grid work. A lot of us as light workers are meant to be doing grid work wherever we are. I said, until then, you already know the memories that you have from Lemuria. You can already tap in, sing a song of just experiencing being on the beach, of seeing the water, being in the jungle. You have those songs within you, sing them. And they said, crystals, because they said, don't forget to work with crystals. Work with your crystal family. They're here for a purpose. Don't just use the same. I use like the same ones every day. So they're like, don't forget all the other crystals that you have. Work with those crystals. Hold them, connect with them, and sing their song. And so the one that they handed me was the Shiva Lingam. So I guess I'll be working with some Shiva Lingam energy today, and singing a song of Shiva Lingam. I don't know if they want me to do that right now, but I could definitely see that being a thing. I won't go into it too in depth right now, but that's the crystal that they recommended I use. Hi. My partner's back. This is the crystal that they recommended that I use. So I'm going to work with this one. And then the last thing that I got after they went back into the jungle, then from the right-hand side, the Arcturians came down. And it was interesting because when they came, well, I didn't really see where they came from, but what I recognized was that the Arcturian, there was a chieftain and then another little Arcturian, and I immediately smiled. And I just remember it touching my heart, and then he said, hello, daughter. And I was like, wait, hold on. And I just received it, but it kind of like, I was like, oh snap, I was your daughter? I didn't receive that the last time I went to go visit them in meditation. So he said, hello, daughter. And so I smiled and I received it, and they're like, remember, you lived multiple lifetimes here, because I was firstborn Pleiadian. Then I went down and I lived on Arcturus and received multiple lessons. Then I went to Lemuria, received multiple lessons, and then I came in my earth body. And so he said, remember, you learned a lot by living your lifetimes here, and you signed up as one of us to go down to the earth plane to do the work. He said, remember the energy that you hold here in Arcturus, you are supposed to be embodying on Earth. Do not allow the lower density to overtake you. You are there to embody what we are. And so, I'll put the website underneath the description box for this, but Bibliotheca Pleiades speaks really well on the Arcturians and what they're about, and they're such a beautiful people, and that's why I think I just immediately smiled. I'm like, oh, you guys feel so... I mean, they all feel beautiful to me, but I think I lived a lot of lifetimes there. And so, one of the major things he has told me, he said, as he was explaining, we were sent down here, I was like, and I remember the first time we spoke, it was about water. He's like, as you connect and grow, as you call to your sisters, the Pleiades, as you work with the crystals, as you call to Lemuria, as you're doing all these things and creating the connections you're meant to create with other people, remember that as those connections grow, and as you grow, as you create something that can sustain itself, that some of the abundance that you will create, use it to help the water. And I already received that from him really strongly the last time we spoke. Sorry, my throat chakra is getting all activated. Cleaning the water, and he put water into my hand. It's kind of sad. I get sad when I think about how the water's treated. He said, clean the water, clean the mind. And so I saw the water in my hand, and it was muddy and brown. And he said to clean it. And a lot of what I remember is he spoke to me because one time I did acid, and I had eaten seafood earlier in the day, and I only did it because I was trying to be nice to my former partner's family. I didn't want to say no, so I was like, okay, I'll eat some. And then I was throwing up all night, and as I was throwing up, like, I felt like I was in, like, the ocean. I felt like I understood what the ocean was going through, and she seemed so tormented and so just sloshed around, and like trash being thrown in her, and just feeling sick. I remember really feeling that. So he said, he's like, remember the experience you had where you felt how the ocean felt? He's like, don't forget, that's a large part of what you're supposed to do, is help to clean the water. And I'd already felt that a year or two ago, but I didn't know what to do. And so I said, well, is there a way that I'm going to be able to do that? And he said, the answer is not going to be very clear right now, but no, water. And which is why I started the video. I was like, did you drink some water today? And I'm like trying to think of like some quirky little ways to be like, would you drink water that was black? No. But we definitely need it to work and function. And most of us are walking around here severely dehydrated, and I know that personally as my own being. So yeah, so then they shared that with me, and I thanked them, and then they left, and then I sat with everything, and I was like, okay. And I wasn't sure if I was going to share it, but then I felt really called to share it as I got up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to move about my day. And they're like, no, share what you just said, so that those who are connecting with you understand what you're going through. So I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm going through, because again, I am also still on my own journey as well, and doing all I can to remain grounded and centered so that I can share my light, so that I can connect, so that I can make those true connections to family that are here on the earth plane, to help other people to wake up and remember all the lifetimes that they've lived. All of us have signed up to be down here and to connect in this way to help elevate the frequency of this planet. And so I just wanted to kind of close it out because, oh my gosh, I'm not even at 20 minutes. I'm so proud of me. I was called to grab my Starseed Oracle deck upstairs to see if we can get a little collective message for us. So thank you for holding space with me. I'm very excited, though. I'm just like so excited to just keep speaking in light and sharing in light and singing in light. And I'm excited to do some more research on Merope and Electra and figure out where they're at within me. Well, I know they're in my everyday and in my work, but I mean like what they represent as individuals. Okay, Pleiadian emissaries of light, Lemurian and Arcturian ancestors, thank you. What message do you have for us as a little collective hanging out right now? What message do you have for all of us? What message do you have for us as we sit here? Oh, both? No? He said none of them. I'm not really good at shuffling this deck. What message do you have for all of us as a collective? Which is why I sometimes go like this, so one can just fall out. What message do you have for us? Spirit, guides. No? What's on the bottom? The cosmic hearts. Ooh, it says devotion potency. Make your life a moving prayer. The card that we got. Perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. Let's all just zoom out of our lives for a moment, if you will. Let's all just zoom out of what's occurring in our house. Zoom out of the house. Zoom out of the state. Zoom out of the continent. Zoom out of the planet. And just sit into space with me for a moment and be like, oh yeah, we did choose to come down here. We did. It's all a matter of perspective and remembering that. And a lot of times I do need that reminder to zoom out. As the North Node Sagittarius, travel really helps me to do that. Yeah, let's all just zoom out for a moment. And I'm going to read it because I like to read the book. But that's just what I'm getting immediately. It's like, hey, as we're all connecting, I know you guys are star seeds and light workers too. This is what's going on. This is something that can help us, is to zoom out and remember why we came down here. LMNOP. Okay, there it is. I'm going to read it while you look at it. That's pretty, I wish it was clearer. That's pretty powerful. Okay, take a step back and look at the bigger picture of your life. Step away from the blinkered vision and reactive frame of mind of me against them. Change your perspective. Shift your point of view and zoom out, out, out. I have. We are but a speck of dust in the universe, yet we think everything revolves around us. We see the planet as ours to own and conquer, pillage the land and settling ourselves up for our eventual extinction. We build fences and walls and create invisible borders. Mother Earth doesn't need us to survive, but we need her. It's time to wake up. A new perspective is urgently needed. We become so lost in our individual experience that we don't realize that most of the things that keep us awake at night are actually distractions. We're wasting our precious time and resources fighting each other when we should be coming together to heal what's been severed. Come together right now over me. This moment is a breath in the timeline of your life. This life is a fleeting moment in the tapestry of your soul's experience. Your soul's experience is a flash in the timeline of the known universe. And the known universe is a grain of sand in the unknown universe. Snap. Take a moment to see the bigger picture, to find common ground, to find deep compassion in your heart, to gain a greater perspective of humanity in this fleeting moment in the timeline of your soul's existence, in the timeline of all that is, was, and ever will be. And the little messages. How are you being called to change your perspective? Well, I'm being called to change my perspective in the way that I move every day. I'm being called to change my perspective in remembering where I'm from and what I'm here to do. I'm being called to change my perspective in how I approach my work. I'm being called to change my perspective in how I connect with others, and knowing that I can connect with others, and that that's something that's going to come, of sharing my authentic self, and I don't have to be afraid to not be received, because I will. So I'm changing my perspective on a lot and remembering a lot. Tell me what you are being called to change your perspective on. I would love to connect in that way. I've been really wanting to hear other people's little machinations of the mind. So please let me know. How are you being called to change your perspective? I want to talk. But yeah, I just wanted to share that too. I wanted to share this whole experience because it just happened and it felt right, and that's what I did, and I did it, and I'm proud of me. So yay. Okay, well, that was what I had to share, and I'm not going to do what I usually do and just make something long because I just want to keep talking, because I'm not going to do that. So thank you so much for connecting with me and hearing about my experiences with my galactic family and meditation this morning. There will be more of these little videos to come when I really feel like called to share it and I feel like you want to hear it. So please and also thank you for all your likes, all your comments. Thank you for subscribing so that we can connect and so we can continue to grow in light together. I appreciate every single subscriber. So thank you to all of the newlies. I wanted to make a post because I got to 369 subscribers, and I was like, oh, what a beautiful number. And I wanted to find a little community section to give thanks, and I don't have one. So I don't know what that's about, but maybe it's Mercury retrograde. But anyhow, thank you so much for connecting with me in this now moment. Very grateful. I trust this message will find you inspired and curious to go find where you have your galactic origins resting, where they are waiting for you in meditation. I trust you will zoom out in this moment and remember to have some beautiful galactic perspective on this whole experience of life. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It feels good. And yeah, until next time, peace and love.